Coach Rigby, before we get to questions, please give us your thoughts on last season and a brief preview of this season.
Okay, it's great to be here. Thank you all for being in attendance. We are coming off of a season where we made great strides in our program. Like you said, we had 20 wins, and we got first postseason bid in the WBI. So we accomplished great things last season, but it really didn't feel like it all off season because of the way we ended the season. We were on a great streak, winning lots of games, and then we got to the conference tournament, and we lost to a very good Lafayette team. Then we got the WBI, and we lost to Mercer, and so that's very disappointing. And not to negate all the good that happened in the conference, in the season, but we want to do better this year. So we're a new team with new goals, and we have a goal set to be successful in postseason play. So we're sort of beginning with the end in mind, but working backwards from that, because in order to be successful in postseason play, we've got to play some really good ball and win a lot of games in the very tough Sun Belt Conference. And in order to be successful in Sun Belt Conference, we need to do a great job in growing and improving in the pre-conference schedule. And then working back from there, in order to have great pre-conference schedule play, we have to have great practices and great defensive drills, and in that, great rebounding. So we just keep working backwards, but with the end in mind of being successful in the end.
Thank you very much, Coach Rigby. As a reminder to our members of the media, please press *1 to get in the queue to ask questions. Our first questions come from Brian Hudgens with The Advocate. Brian, please go ahead.
Coach Rigby, one thing I was wondering, you talked a little bit about the difficulty within the conference as far as the skill level of some of the teams. As far as your younger players, helping prepare them for that, is that something, do you have to address that? Do you have to actually verbally tell them how tough the conference is, or is it something that almost takes care of itself because, you have somebody like Ashley Beverly Kelly, or you have players who have already been through it who are pretty much already relaying that message?
Well, I think if you let it take care of itself, you're going to lose some games in the process. We try to prepare them every day using our returning players as tools. We want them to be a mouthpiece, and they're an important piece to the puzzle, but it's got to come from the coaches, whether it's explaining to them or showing them film or just reminding them in every day and every way in the drill. We did finish third in the conference last year, and we have the majority of our good players back. Even though we have a lot of new players, we have 8 new players, but we have the majority of our scoring back, and still we were picked to finish 5th in the conference. And I think that just shows you, it's a testament to how good the conference is going to be this year. I heard some more coaches say this in their time, that they feel like, this is going to be the toughest year of Sun Belt Conference play. The play has really improved. The coaches have gotten out and done a great job of recruiting. And I think that's a testament to the fact that we finished third. We have the majority of our good players back, but we were picked to finish 5th. So it just shows you we've got to do a great job preparing these new players for what the level of competition is about to be. Okay.
And I guess with you, obviously you play kind of the up-tempo style. Considering that you have one of your main leaders back, that you have Ashley back, is that sort of a good foundation that we don't have to make a bunch of changes, we kind of have a solid base or foundation, and we can continue on what we have been doing?
Yes, that's a great point. This is entering my 4th year, so Ashley Beverly Kelly has actually been here all 4 years with us, and so now either our returning players get it because they've been here with us, or our new players get it because that's what we recruited them to do. It is entirely our team now here, so they get it that we want to play fast. They understand that we want to take a lot of shots and take quick shots. But what we're trying to change the culture in now is to get stops on defense. We've been first in scoring in the conference the last 3 years, I believe. We've also been, the last in defense. So we're trying to keep the culture of scoring quickly and scoring a lot of points, but also really improve on the defensive end.
Thank you very much, Brian. Our next questions come from Dan McDonald with McD Media. Dan,
Coach, you talked about having all your offense back and so forth. I guess the big question is who's going to go get the ball for you?
Great question. We lost Renita Garrett, who led the Sun Belt Conference in rebounds and in double-doubles last year. So we did lose a lot, especially in rebounding. And she had a natural knack for rebounding. I don't really know if she ever even blocked out, which is, the coach will pull your hair out over that, but she would end up with the rebound. But now we're having to coach that more. We don't have a natural rebounder on the floor like we did last year. We're having to work really hard at it. But really, that's what rebounding is a lot of times. 9 times out of 10, it is a workhorse willing to go do it. So we're trying to get Kristen Emerson, who came off the bench for us last year and who was second on our team in rebounding. We're trying to get her to step it up, but also some more players. We're wanting a surprise out of our freshmen or out of our junior college transfers. We're hoping somebody else will step it up and be a strong rebounder for us.
You talked about Beverly Kelly being, 4-year person and so forth. What do you think has been the area that she's improved the most since she got there?
Well, no doubt, her mental strength and her will and her resolve and her confidence. She's always a hard worker. She's always improving her game, her dribbling, her shooting. She's always working on that. That's a given. She's going to work on that every day. But as a coaching staff, we've had to push her to work on becoming stronger and knowing and owning how good of a player she is. Because by nature, she's a very humble person, respectful, humble, and that kind of thing. We need her to keep that attitude off the floor but be a warrior on the floor, and she's really improved in that way.
One other question. With the new rule changes, the quarters, resetting the fouls, advancing the ball at the end, and so forth, do you like the new rules, and how do you think that's going to affect play for your team and the game overall?
I think overall, Dan, that these rules are going to be good for Troy Trojan basketball because we like the fact that if somebody calls a timeout in the first 2 minutes, we might have to play 8 more minutes without another timeout. We like that because that's what we're banking on is getting some runs going, score a quick basket on the fast break and turn around and press and try to get a turnover and score again. And so when coaches can break that up, either stopping the ball because of the free throw line or timeout calls, that works against us. So even though I know it's going to present challenges for us, overall I think it's good for what we're trying to do. It's also good for the excitement of the game. As far as advancing the ball in the last minute, I only like that rule when we have the ball. I'm not going to like it when we're on defense. But overall, yes, I'm a fan of the changes. And progress is always painful. Change is always uncomfortable. But also that's what it takes to stay in the now and to please, to bring the game along. So I'm for them.